This is Sports Charlotte, the podcast about sports in Charlotte. My name is Herb White. This is Cameron Williams, who is a staff reporter at the Post.
Well, who are you?
I am the editor-in-chief.
Okay.
That I am. And it is Thursday, September 4, 2025. And it's that time of the year where there seems to be really good football storylines all over the place. And for this podcast, we're going to start with high schools. And the Magnificent Seven is out this week. No change at the top, but we have a first-time entry for this season. Huff High School, number one, been that way since the first week of the season. West Charlotte is second. Mallard Creek is third. After that, come the changes, with Charlotte Catholic moving up from 5th to 4th, Palisades from 6th to 5th, and Butler from 7th to 6th. Chambers is the new school in at number 7. Everybody on this list, with the exception of West Charlotte, is undefeated. There you go.
Are you ready for my
Well,
spiel?
I guess you will have something to say, no doubt about
Why
that.
are we dropping Independence out of the rankings after a one loss to the top team? Yes, it was a shellacking.
Okay, well,
No.
discussion closed.
No. They have played Gaffney and Huff.
Mm-hmm.
Look at some of who. Man, we got to start factoring in just a little bit more who these teams are playing. I just, for me personally, I would reward stiffer scheduling. Now, the DJ and the Independence crew helped themselves out by losing the way they did. No, I'll be the first to say that. But you don't play tough teams thinking you're going to win every single game. Them at 1-1 to me is no different than West Charlotte at 1-1. Maybe the way in which they lost is a little bit different, but you got one team at 1-1 at second. Okay, and I think West Charlotte should be second or third right there. But you drop a team out after beating Gaffney, who's going to be a top 5 team in South Carolina, top 10 for sure. I think they're top 5. And you, sorry, we love arguing about this, but it's his ranking. It's his M7.
Absolutely, and that's the way it is. And I understand what you're saying about scheduling and playing difficult opponents, and that's all well and good. Problem is when you schedule tough teams, granted you could lose. On the other hand, I'm sure you're not scheduling tough teams with the intention of losing by 35 points and not scoring a touchdown. And as number 4 in the rankings, when you get that kind of beat down and you're not number 1, yeah, you're going to fall out.
Yeah, but fall completely out. I mean, they were 4th. I could see bumping them down to 7, but you're talking about, okay, look, Butler, and I know Coach Hells is my guy. You know, we do the whole talking preps thing. He's a great coach. You can't argue with 3 championships.
Mm-hmm.
But he knew this year was kind of like a rebuilding type year, and they played Olympic and Corvian. Now, Corvian, yeah, they were in the 1A state championship, but that's 1A. I think good talent is good talent, but let's be real. Corvian and Butler, I think Butler should have won that game by more, and they won 14-9. And I know you're going to say, but they still won.
Yes, they did.
I don't see you dropping all the way out of the rankings if you're 4th. If they were down maybe 6th or 7th and they lose, yeah, they get the boot. But they were 4th. You drop them 5 spots out. I mean, I'm assuming they're 8th or 9th in your next up kind of list. But whew,
it's early yet.
It was rough.
It's early yet. And it's not where you start, it's where you finish. But as I explained in a previous podcast, it's who's having the best season right now. And after a 35-point loss, they're not having a very good time. So there it is. I mean, and it's great. You can argue it till the cows come home. But the beauty of this ranking is there will be fluid moments throughout the season. And right now, there's no doubt who the better teams are at this point in the season. And there's going to be some movement in the back because teams will come and go. And independents may show up at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But the way that things look after last week, they still have some answers they need to find.
Yeah.
And when you are in search of answers, it's usually because a problem has arisen.
What games are you looking forward to this week? Because I know our M7's playing. Well, some of them are playing some stiffer competition.
Mm-hmm.
West Charlotte comes to mind, going down to play South Point.
We're going to learn a lot about the Lions this week, too.
We will. I mean, now for what it's worth, Huff did handle South Point. Well, I don't want to say handle. It was a close game, but they did win. I believe Independence has Charlotte Christian, who apparently there was some controversy at the Charlotte Catholic and Christian game. I was told by a few different people that the Charlotte Christian running back was tossed off the team mid-game. Don't know what happened there.
Somebody was salty.
I've tried to get some answers, but I'll put it this way. I hadn't got text back from the Charlotte Christian folk. At least not yet.
Butler goes to Irmo, South Carolina.
Yeah, that's an L.
That's a tough competition. Let's see how that works. Will they take a 35
Will they fall out
if
they get gollywopped? Will they fall out
by 35 points? Yes, indeed. That's a guarantee.
Yeah. Now the game of the week, obviously we won't be able to be at. Not traveling to Georgia, but Mallard Creek and Grayson. Whew, boy, I've been looking forward to this one. Man, I'll tell you one thing about Coach Kennedy Tinsley there at Mallard Creek. That boy does not back down from scheduling juggernauts. He played Buford out of Georgia back-to-back years when they had Dylan Raiola, who was the number one quarterback in that class, and now he's at Nebraska. He's the one that everybody compares to Patrick Mahomes because he looks a lot like him. But really great quarterback. I mean, then they won Buford won 10-7. And Mallard Creek's defense really showed they were the truth in that game a few years ago too. So, look, Mallard Creek, I think if their offense could just come up just a little bit to, I don't even want to say equal their defense because their defense may be top 3 in the state, bar none. I think they could be a state title contender. Their offense you can't put up 3 points like they did last week and expect to win. Yeah. Now, they pitched a shutout.
Yeah. But you only scored 3 points yourself. So,
well, for what it's worth, their quarterback was out. So I'll give him a little slack. I'm not sure what his timetable of return is, but you'll have to put up more than 3 points to win the MEC Power 6 conference. I can tell you that, too.
Yeah, and that was Warwick in Virginia that they beat, which is a pretty good team. So
to shut them out was impressive.
Yeah, but only 3 points.
It won them the game by shutting them out.
Absolutely, and that's why they didn't slide in the rankings.
They should have jumped. I'll tell Sam that.
Hey, that's a different thing. But moving to a different subject, you wrote a feature story that appeared in this week's publication, and you can also read it on charlottepost.com about Jupiter Wilson.
Jumpin' Jupe.
Somebody that we talked about before. He's the new head coach over at Garinger High School. And he is obviously someone who believes in where you are is where you need to be. And he is trying to turn around a culture that has known nothing but losing in football for, I would say, at this point, generations.
Yeah, if not generations, definitely decades among decades. Generations, yeah.
So talk a little bit about what he's up to and how this story became so interesting, because Garinger has been on these long losing streaks, and opening game, they mess around and actually win.
Yeah, they didn't just win. I mean, they won big over Winston-Salem Preparatory Academy. They did skid and they lost in week 2. But look, a win is huge around that campus. We're talking about a team that in the last 10 years they've had as many winless seasons as there have, or no, in the last since 2000 they've had as many winless seasons as there has been years or something like that. There was some stat that I found. I mean, it was crazy how many winless seasons this team has had, and so just to get a win and build some kind of morale around the campus that, like, look, we're not the laughing stock of Charlotte. Now, do we still have a long way to go? Yes, and that's what Wilson's talking about. Like, he wants the culture to change, and once you see it, the culture start to change and start to shift to where these kids want to work, they want to put in the time and the effort. He thinks that'll end up resulting in wins, and I mean, it did on opening night. They got a chance to against East Meck this week, and then they finish off their non-conference with Ballantyne Ridge. So look, their schedule sets up favorably for them, at least until they get into conference play. I think they could eke out one or two more wins this year.
Which would be
All like huge.
awesome for them. And what is it that makes him, at least in your opinion, it makes him right guy, right place, right program? I mean, because in your reporting, you said that he could have gone to all kinds of places, winning programs, rich tradition, and yet he decided on going to lowly Garinger of all places.
Yeah, he's a people person. And you wouldn't think, looking at him, big, offensive lineman from UNC Chapel Hill back in the early 2000s. He's got a gruff appearance, but he has a passion for the kids. He's got a passion for just helping build stronger communities in general, and I think he has found a niche there. I don't want to put a timetable on how long he's going to be there, but he was very blunt about it. He's like, I don't see myself going and taking a job anywhere else because I think my purpose is here. And he's really trying to just get the community bought into wanting to support the brand. Because, I mean, let's be honest, if you year in, year out, if you're a losing program that's not putting up any results on the scoreboard, you and I both know that football teams kind of drive morals of campuses. And I think he's trying to get the football team to a point where maybe they won't be state champions in the next 5 to 10 years, but if they start winning some games and getting the community back involved, it's a topple-down domino effect. People will start wanting to support the team. Alums will start coming back because even when I talked with one of his players, he was like, people don't even support any of our athletics programs. He's like, our soccer team's very good. No one shows up for those games. It's all going to start with football, and I think Jupiter understands that. And once he can start putting together consecutive, I don't want to say winning seasons, but just wins in consecutive seasons, things will start to change at the G, as he calls it.
Yeah, and I've seen this happen in real time in the past. For instance, West Charlotte, before Mo Collins arrived, the late Mo Collins arrived, West Charlotte had a dickens of a time attracting talent that would play football. And they'd gone through a dry spell where they had fallen off the map in terms of relevance. Kids weren't necessarily even interested in showing up and playing for a loser. Mo goes there and starts to work on encouraging folks to be part of the change. And then they start to slowly build on it. And it's like, next thing you know, West Charlotte's relevant again. And it's carried on now where it's been reignited in terms of state title winning program and all that other stuff. But I've seen it happen in real time where you take a loser that nobody cares about, you bring in a charismatic coach who knows what he's doing and can connect with young people. That's the key. Can you connect with them and knit together some community and some culture? And next thing you know, it's like, it's not so bad. Maybe I should go try out for the team. And I don't think, in terms of Mecklenburg County's public schools, that no campus has fallen so far down and stayed there as Garinger. And if he can knit some community together, I think that's a heck of a story.
Hell yeah. I mean, it truly is. And it was ironic at the week this story came out. A local or, a fellow connection had us, big Saturday watch party for the college football games. And Jupiter comes walking in. We're talking about the story and just talking about how he thought I encapsulated what his vision was. And yeah, that's always good as a journalist. Give yourself a little pat on the back
Absolutely.
to be able to chronicle truly the vision of your subject point and what you're writing about. And so I thought that was cool. And look, like you said, if he's able to get this community back somewhat together, that's huge. I mean, it's huge for just the part of Charlotte in general that they're located in. Just the community around the school, the alumni base, and the kids there. Because if you were to go into a Garinger classroom and say, what does being a Garinger Wildcat mean to you? They'd probably be like, I don't care.
Yeah. Well,
And so, I mean, there would be no sense of, school pride. And I mean, look, I went to, Northwest Cabarrus and Concord, and it wasn't like I was like, bleed orange and black, go Trojans all throughout high school, but there was a sense of school pride. You wanted to say that you went there. I don't think Garinger's had that in a long time.
yeah. Now, and sports has a tribalism to it.
Mhm.
It's like, well, you want, and especially you want to be affiliated with a winning tribe.
Yeah.
And when your tribe is lowly, nobody wants to be part of that. And it starts to manifest itself in different ways. One is you can't build a roster. And
Yeah.
I've seen where Garinger in previous years was doing good to have 25 kids, and there will be a lot of two-way players.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how talented you are, two-way players have a tendency to wear down over the course of a game and then a season. And then it's like, well, you know what? Never mind.
Well, that's one thing Jupe was talking about. He's seeing the numbers of kids coming out steadily increase, and I mean, he's thinking they could top out, 45 to 50. That's unbelievable
for them. Yeah,
I mean, that's truly, because I know in the last 3 or 4 seasons, I maybe went to 2 or 3 Garinger games, and it's like you look down the sidelines and you're like, man, is that? I'm not saying because they're smaller. I mean, there are some kids are smaller there, but I'm just like looking at the numbers. I'm like, that's a Pop Warner team.
Yeah.
I mean, because Pop Warner, you got kids playing offense and defense. I played Pop Warner. I played offense and defensive line. So it's like the numbers they were producing were not great. And I think with a culture shift and a coach that means business, he said it jokingly, but there's been videos posted of it. The kids are late to class, or a kid doesn't show up for practice, or is late to practice. They're doing like 50 burpees. And they posted a video on their social media yesterday of 3 kids. They were sitting there doing burpees in the locker room. And I'm like, accountability. It's what he's trying to implement. And he thinks that's the starting point to really change the culture at the G.
Well, we will certainly keep track of that story. And I think that if he can pull that off, that is nothing short of miraculous. But hey,
what if he wins a state championship at Garinger?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I was just saying, what if does he surpass his good friend Sam Griner if he wins at Garinger? Winning at Harding's tough enough, but winning at Garinger?
Yeah, that's just to put it bluntly, absolutely, because of what Garinger had become before he got there.
Yeah.
And like I said, back in more than a couple of decades ago, Garinger football was irrelevant. We're talking about 80s, they were irrelevant. And this was after a run when Garinger was a hotbed for football, and it produced NFL players. Robert Massey, who is the head coach at Winston-Salem State, played with the Detroit Lions. Dwight Clark, the catch from the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, those guys played their high school ball at Garinger. And after that group of folks left, Dave Waymer, who played with the New Orleans Saints, those dudes all played at that school. And then for whatever reason, the soil went fallow. He couldn't grow anything coming out of it. And Garinger became more of a basketball school. And now basketball is kind of like on the irrelevant side too.
That was a soccer school.
But
who cares about soccer?
Yeah, somebody cares, but not enough to say we can galvanize a campus. Football does that.
Yeah. Well, in the United States, I don't think soccer's ever going to galvanize a campus. There's no rally cry behind soccer in this country yet. That's another topic for another podcast. But I will be sure to hit on that at some point because that's a deep dive topic.
Yeah.
But I'll break this podcast down.
Okay, please do.
While you're on the Charlotte Post website viewing Jumpin' Jupiter, Garinger football buys into new culture, story written by yours truly, check out other parts of the website. Click subscribe or donate at the top. We would love to have your support because our journalism, while accessing it, is free of charge. You can go right on the website and view our stories. It ain't free to produce. We got to get paid somehow. So we would appreciate it if you would do that. Subscribe to our weekly sports newsletter. Came out this morning. Mm-hmm. I looked at my phone this morning when the alarm went off, and Herb had sent out the newsletter. So be sure to check that out. All of our sports reporting will be in there. But for me, myself, the staff reporter, and Herb, the editor-in-chief in beautiful Derrida, I'm Cam. I said that's Herb. Thanks for watching and listening.